Queen Mary of Teck, the reserved grandmother of Queen Elizabeth II, was the epitome of staid British self-control and regal bearing. But beneath her icy exterior lay a true passion for objects and their acquisition, that has led to decades of whispers that this most proper of queens as fictionalized in the film Downton Abbey was a common kleptomaniac. There is no doubt that Mary, who reigned from 1910 to 1936, was obsessed with collecting, restoring, and reorganizing royal artifacts for the House of Windsor. "My one great hobby," she called it. Hello and welcome to Royal Scandal. Please do well to like, subscribe, comment, and turn on the notification bell so as not to miss out on any news updates. But the Queen also amassed numerous personal collections, which, according to her official biographer, James Pope Hennessy, included Battersea enamels, late jades, miniature elephants of agate with jeweled howdahs, small tea sets in gold or silver, papier-mâché workboxes, tiny watercolors of flower gardens, glass paintings. Her mania for miniatures led to the creation of the famous Queen Mary's dollhouse, built between 1921 and 1924. Queen Mary's love for beauty and acquisition came naturally. By nature, she is more interested in looking than in listening, an associate wrote. Born in 1867 at Kensington Palace, the daughter of Princess Mary Adelaide, a cousin of Queen Victoria, and Duke Francis of Teck, she was christened Princess Victoria Mary, called May by her family and considered a quiet, intelligent child. According to Pope Hennessy's definitive Queen Mary, she claimed her love for collecting came from her father, only he was poor. In fact, her parents' spendthrift lifestyle landed the family in hot water, forcing them to flee to Italy. Her love of art was fostered in Florence, where her parents lived for a few years, as they had debts, says historian Hugo Vickers, editor of The Quest for Queen Mary. May's first engagement to Prince Eddie, third in line to the throne, ended with his death in 1892. A year later, she married his brother George, who was as reserved, though not nearly as intelligent as she. There was more to the reserved princess than met the eye. She did look austere, Vickers says. Underneath it all, she had a good sense of humor, but she was quite shy. She began collecting in earnest, which seemed not to bother her husband, as he was an avid stamp collector. With the accession of her father-in-law King Edward VII in 1901, May was now Princess of Wales. In between motherhood and her numerous duties, she found solace and true enjoyment in working as an unofficial curator and cataloger for the royal collections. "I am very busy now seeing that our various inventories are correct and that everything is entered as far as possible with its history," she wrote to her Aunt Augusta in 1909. "It is really rather wonderful what we have managed to collect and get together since we married, quite a creditable collection of family things, without spending much money over it. I confess I feel rather proud of our endeavors. I hope you won't laugh at me." These endeavors only ramped up when her husband became King George V in 1910. An astute businesswoman, Mary had developed a vast network of curators, auction houses, gallery owners, collector friends, and librarians to consult and bargain with. As queen, she also had the vast royal collections at her disposal. She rehung the picture gallery at Buckingham Palace and created virtual museums of her beloved possessions in royal residences. "It was such a pleasure showing you my rooms on Sunday, as you are so very appreciative of detail and worthy of all the beautiful objects which are ever a constant joy to me," Queen Mary wrote a fellow collector in 1914. "It always seems strange to me that there can be people to whom these things mean and say nothing to them. I confess I pity them as they miss much in life." For the Queen, beauty was found in history and heritage, not artistic daring or innovation. She had a good eye and she did fabulous work in identifying and marking provenance, also of bringing the right collections together. Having said that, she preferred a moderate portrait of some Hanoverian relation to a more exciting work by someone like Cézanne, says Vickers. This passion for bringing royal artifacts into the monarchy's collection could lead to unpleasant encounters, which probably led to the rumors that the Queen was a kleptomaniac, according to biographer and Edwards, author of Matriarch, Queen Mary and the House of Windsor. She had kind of upmarket kleptomania because she would go stay in somebody's house and she'd be sitting on one of a dozen Sheraton chairs and she'd say, "Oh, I do like this chair," and you'd be obliged to give her all 12, royal ancestor Princess Olga Romanov told the Daily Mail in May. So people got wise to this, and they'd say, "Oh God, Queen Mary's coming to stay," so they'd put the good stuff in the attic and bring the more rotten stuff down. Even royal artifacts in museums were not safe from her acquisitive eye. Her insatiable fascination in rearranging and completing the great royal collections at Buckingham Palace and Windsor Castle left museum directors no more protection from her obsession than antique dealers, Edwards writes. If she saw something that she thought should be placed in a royal residence, she requested a permanent loan of the piece. More mysterious is the case of the legendary jewels of the House of Windsor's royal relatives, the Romanovs. During the Russian Revolution, the Dowager Empress Maria, mother of the murdered Tsar Nicholas II, escaped to Europe with a giant box of jewels. In her exile in Denmark, she slept with the precious stones under her bed and refused to sell them. According to the flight of the Romanovs in 1928, as Maria lay dying, the British sent over an agent to convince her daughter Xenia to give them the box for safekeeping. Dependent upon the British Crown for support, she agreed. After Maria's death, an emissary named Sir Peter Barke convinced Xenia that the jewels would be safest in England in the care of George V. There, the British royal family would sell the jewels on behalf of Xenia and her sister, Olga. The box included some 76 exquisite pieces, according to Perry, which British historian William Clark said London experts appraised at approximately £159,000. Strange events followed. The box was opened in Buckingham Palace, and no proper inventory was taken. The jewels were eventually sold, some to Queen Mary. There is something touching about the utter delight Queen Mary took in her collections until her death in 1953. Into old age, Mary was said to have one of the best memories in the British Empire, per Edwards. According to Pope Hennessy, she instantly noticed if even the smallest of her beloved objects had been removed for cleaning. She also began to meticulously catalogue her own life. Towards the end of her life, she docketed and arranged her papers for a future biographer, sometimes writing on an envelope containing, say, a German letter to Queen Victoria from some relation, the disarming superscription, "Nice letter about me," Pope Hennessy wrote. If she had not been a royal princess, perhaps Queen Mary would have been an expert librarian or curator. Her tireless acquiring enriched royal collections, giving the current queen one of the most important jewelry collections in the world and greatly assisting modern royal curators. According to Edwards, to this day, there is scarcely a piece of furniture in a royal residence that doesn't have a label written in the old queen's hand. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe.